experienced the like. They'd had to consult dusty tomes, talk to older angels and archangels, until at last they found someone who remembered another case 2 millennia ago. Angels were immortal, but sometimes the incidents so infrequent that they were forgotten between one lifetime and the next, an angel simply stopped, as if a long clock had finally run out. The healers had told her all that, and still she didn't comprehend the way of it. Ron had been old, but nowhere close to the oldest of them. Many angels double or even triple his age walked the earth. But it was Ron who had stopped as he lay in bed next to her, his life slipping away while she slept unconcerned at his side. Had he choked for breath? Had he looked to her for help? The questions tortured her as snow dusted her cheeks, stung her skin. She watched it settle gently over the sculpture, and she wondered if, in the centuries to come, he would be remembered by anyone but her. He had been a great sculptor and painter, but a reclusive one, not a man to have many friends. So perhaps it was his art that would be remembered, and she thought he would have liked for that to be his legacy. A sob rocking through her, she fell to her knees on the stony ground. "Angels aren't meant to die," she whispered. But there was no one to hear her. The wind ripped the words straight from her mouth and smashed them against the mountaintop. Her wings Ron had called a gift of indigo light, spread out on the snow and the stone, grew cold and numb, and her knees froze into position, but still she didn't rise. Part of her kept on hoping that he would wake and tell her it had all been a terrible mistake. She was only 160 years old, and the love of her life lay cold and dead. At that instant, the winds howling around her, she couldn't imagine a more terrible pain. Alone in the falling snow, she mourned. Angels aren't meant to die. 2. 3,500 years ago. Sire, I have borne a son, strong and with such a voice to him that he keeps the entire refuge awake. He will not flinch from anyone, this child of mine. My eldest says that he has my eyes and my temper. The twins already believe he will follow their warrior ways, while Euphemia is the only one who can get him to sleep when he is determined to stay awake and roar out his battle cry. His father is in astonishment at having helped create such a child. I tell him it will pass, and he will be a good father. He has a patience I lack, but this boy of mine will not be afeard of even his mother. This I know. I will name him Titus. Letter from First General Evelina to Archangel Alexander. 3. 1 month ago. He couldn't remember his name. His lungs fought to suck in air, his vision blurred, and his wings lay heavy and useless on his back. Still he crawled forward, dragging himself out of hell and toward the sunlight. His eyes fell on the back of his hand, on his formerly ice-white skin he'd pampered and protected and examined with care in the mirror each day, skin that had highlighted the intense topaz shade of his eyes, skin that was now mottled with green. He had to get out. He had to find a healer. But he was so weak. How would he... Snatching out a skeletal hand with reptilian speed, he gripped the small creature that had scuttled across his path, had his teeth sunk into its small, furred body before his conscious mind could process the decision. The creature's furless tail whipped in panic, but it had little blood and died soon. Throwing the creature aside, he wiped the back of his hand over his mouth and felt a spurt of energy. So, was he a vampire now? No, that couldn't be. Vampire-angel hybrids existed only in tales spun by mortals. Immortals understood the fundamental truth that vampires and angels weren't biologically compatible, but that he'd gained energy from the creature's blood was indisputable. His head jerked toward the small corpse. Again, he snatched it up without...